shout out again to all these guys, man, because without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. This group of photos was taken the day before we left Poof Dirt Farms for the last time. This is Juicy Fruit Land and the surrounding areas, also Green Hill, which is a happy accident story in and of itself. We received this mulch, which we thought was mulch, from one of our good farmer friends, and it ended up being super fertile and also a great source of entertainment as people would come to our farm. These plants were about 9 foot tall when we left, and even taller today. In the first couple of photos you see Juicy Fruit Land, which has tobacco, which is about 8 foot tall, and a whole bunch of exotic plants that we grew in a climate that wasn't supposed to have that stuff growing. So in our education for ourselves, we inspired the community to really take chances with what they could grow, and we're looking to build on that as we move forward here at our self-made homestead. This photo is one of my favorites. It was taken in 2017 when we purchased this property. Look at the blank slate. When we bought it, I was excited because we could literally do whatever we wanted, and however we dreamed it, it became. The following photo is one of my favorites, taken of the same area. Listen, blank slate is only a blank slate if you're not creative, and if you dream big enough, great things can happen. 5 years later, this photo was taken by our realty team when we listed the property. If you look at the before and after, when you turn a blank slate into a place where you love to kick it, it makes sense. It feels right. This is what we called the Zen Garden. We had a pond here where my fishies kicked it, and we also put a little bit of exotic plants throughout the spot and made it more inviting. Look at it. It's beautiful. So this is by far the realest part of the journey. After the Freedom Wagon was built, we decided the next phase would be called Scorched Earth, and here's why. Everything, and I do mean everything, that couldn't fit in that wagon was given away to our friends, or we sold stuff. My shop used to sit in this photo. Between these two slabs was a 40-foot shipping container from which I built Black Unicorn Fab. We thank the town of Pahrump and the people who made that a reality, as it made us recession-proof. But in our exodus, we shed all dead weight, leaving literal scorched earth, which you'll see here in a second. When most people discuss the term scorched earth, it's in a negative context. Everything's gone, everything's dead, all ties are severed. For us, as farmers, and at this particular phase in my life, scorched earth was a promise kept to my family and future generations to build from one of the best times in our lives. We love the town of Pahrump, but we knew that we are meant for something bigger. As we left Poof Dirt Farms behind us, ahead of us is a world of new possibility. And here, in this photo, which is one of my favorite photos of this entire video, I really get a chance to reflect on what matters. Stuff doesn't matter, people do. Properties don't matter. What matters is what you build with those properties. Poof Dirt Farms was home for 5 years as we built it from the ground up, and it became a staple in the community. Many of you watching this video, we thank you for all that it was, because you guys made us who we are. We became part of your family just as you became part of ours. But in this phase of our lives, the scorched earth phase as I refer to it, we let go of stuff and held on to the people who made it possible. So this photo signifies one of the biggest transitions of our lives. From the scorched earth, we will grow again. And that is the moral of the story. Because after all, you have to turn poop into progress. Or as I like to say, use it as fertilizer from which you grow. Scorched earth was only the beginning of the next chapter, and we never want to forget the fact that Poof Dirt Farms was a huge part of who we are. This photo was taken after a 72-hour fire drill. Down to the literal last minute, we were packing and cramming the Freedom Wagon and getting all of our stuff out. Shout out to Rudy for taking truckloads of our gear to his house, hopefully building stuff with it, and to all of you who were there for us in the final hour. They say you don't find out who your friends are until you have to move, and everybody who held a hand in that, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. But this photo was taken right after we recorded the sale of Poof Dirt Farms. We were fueling up and ready to hit the road. Tired as hell, but we did it, and that's the point. The first state on our tour was Arizona. Still wearing the clothes used to pack the Freedom Wagon. I was tired, the boss was tired, Anthony was tired, hell, Biggie was passed out. Everybody felt that. But as we drove away from Poof Dirt Farms for the last time, we knew that the change would be worth it. All things worth having are worth working for. And that's what I told myself as I lost sleep for the last week at Poof Dirt Farms. Welcome to Route 66, historic Seligman, Arizona. Now, shortly after this photo was taken, we got lost as hell in the middle of nowhere, in the rain, on a dirt road, on the way to what we thought was a dope off-grid camping site. In the moment, I was pissed. I was stressed out, trying to figure out how the hell I was going to turn around, where we were going to go, how we were going to sleep, what we were going to do, but we rerouted to something that was far more beautiful. And that's the beauty of it all, isn't it? Right after this breakfast, we had to make a very important decision. We stayed right at the entrance to the Grand Canyon, and we had to decide after all of that crazy turnaround the night before whether or not the truck would make it from this point to the rest of the journey, because there were some issues with the trailer. Not so much my truck, but the trailer had a whole bunch of stuff going on. We found out that the leaf springs had failed on both sides, which could have left us with a whole bunch of problems that were greater than we were willing to deal with at the time. By the grace of God, we made it to a repair shop and gave the Freedom Wagon a much needed overbuilt upgrade. New leaf springs that were rated for way bigger than I needed them to be, but gave us the clearance we needed fully loaded down to make the rest of our journey. Happy accidents, right? In this photo, you can see me standing next to the dudes who are installing my brand new leaf springs, and I don't look too happy. Mainly because I was stressed, but at the same time relieved. I knew that something bad could have happened, and I was grateful for the fact that we were able to fix it before it did. Sometimes you have to make decisions for the big picture. What seems to be a good idea might not always work out as one unless you're willing to make the sacrifices required to make it happen. That little fiasco with my trailer meant that our original plan for me to drive during the daylight hours where, I could see stuff, turned into me driving till about 11 o'clock from the Grand Canyon to Bryce Canyon. But along the way, we stopped at Lake Powell to give you guys a little bit of an update of their situation as it pertains to Lake Mead and the water situation in both regions. What is up, everybody? It's the Kid Mike Maye, aka Captain Wiggler, signing in live and direct. Listen, a lot of people are talking about Lake Mead and its water levels on the decline, but today on our day 2 of our road tripper series from here to our new farm, we're stopping at Lake Powell to show you really what's going on. And as she pans over my shoulder, you can see how the water levels are on the steady decline here as well. Some of the most beautiful situations you'll encounter in life are when you're most uncomfortable. After driving through the night and arriving at Bryce Canyon super duper early, the boss told me to close my eyes as we walked up to this approach. Now, I had never been to Bryce Canyon before. I had only seen the photos she had taken in previous road trips. I've always wanted to go there, and when I opened my eyes, y'all, when I say that I felt small, I mean pebble small. The sheer walls and everything pertaining to that overlook really put everything into perspective for me. And if I'm speaking honestly, from this point in the road trip till the very end of the road trip, I felt like I belonged. In this moment, I owned the role of pioneer, because when we were blazing a trail as a family, I may be small, we may be small, but together we're as big as this canyon. And that was where my head was when I was taking all of this in. Listen, Bryce Canyon, to say it's beautiful is an understatement. You're doing it a discredit. If you've never been there and you like to road trip, you like to hike, I would say make sure you pack water and take the time you need to explore the trailheads here. It's beautiful, y'all, from the trees to the rock formations to all the natural habitat here to the wildlife. Everything about this place is beautiful. My only regret is not being able to fish it. I'll weigh that against the beauty here. Not everything needs to be fished, Mike. But everything needs to be fished, Mike. As we were leaving Bryce Canyon, things became more and more green. It was noticeable. There were a couple of places that had some epic rock formations that we did get to stop at. Those rock faces had easy 60 to 100 foot sheer wall drops. And when you're in a place that big, you feel really small if you're doing it right. I challenge you to go into these places and put into perspective all of the problems that you perceive to be so big right now. Because these walls were formed by nature over thousands of years. And I'm pretty sure they've weathered anything that you can throw at them. So when I go to road trips, I like to leave problems in beautiful areas, meaning I meditate and I like to shed weight spiritually while I'm there. And when you take these beautiful places in, not with your eyes, but with your spirit and with the beauty that is all around you, it's damn near impossible to be mad, to be dreading anything. Take in the beauty while you still can. This photo says it all. It's a leap of faith. I don't know if you guys can see the drop behind me, but I'm pretty sure that would have hurt me pretty bad if I missed that. I channeled my inner skater, taking it back to my first concussions, and really went for it. I call this photo the leap of faith. And if you follow me on social media, this is my current profile photo because it embodies everything about what we're doing right now. It takes a lot. You got to leave everybody you love, the situations you're comfortable in, and you have to pursue it with a bold fearlessness that only happens while you're doing the thing. Remember that photo I told you started to shape the whole outlook that I had on the journey? This photo is a reminder to me and a call to action to myself to keep pushing. Not just for me, but for the movement. Because when you embody change, people around you change. And that is the beauty of it. In this moment, all I'm thinking about is the jump and landing specifically and not killing myself. But in reality, one of my favorite parts of this photo is the fact that in this moment, I am in this moment. So much of our lives is spent commuting, but not enough of it, in my opinion, is spent in the journey. Not the A to B part, but the dash in between. So if you road trip, I challenge you to make it about the trip. Not, we have to get here, we have to go there, we have to do this. You have to make it about the moments, because you don't have a lot of them, and none of them are guaranteed. Look here. This is my adventure buddy. We do a lot of crazy crap together. I call her the boss because there's no other explanation. We are partners in crime. And in this photo, she is jumping with her flip-flops in her hands, making the same crazy jump I made. I'm taking this photo in awe, for the record. I rarely get behind the camera. There's a couple of instances in this video where I'm behind the camera, usually taking pictures of her. Because when you find somebody as crazy as you are, who is willing to build and take that same leap of faith with you, by God, you put a ring on her finger and you ask her if she likes to fish. Here we are as a family, somewhere in the middle of Utah. Now, aside from our epic road trip here, understand that in this moment, we are realizing, and it's starting to sink in, that this isn't just a vacation trip. This is us on our way to our new life. It's a lot. It was a lot to take in. But one of my favorite parts about this photo is that we're all in it. So when we look back and my hair isn't as awesome as it is, it's all gray and hopefully still there, we'll have these photos to look back on as a family and remember our pilgrimage, our pioneer ways, as you were, blazing a trail to our new future. This one ought to go on the mantle somewhere. We made it through Utah and headed into colorful Colorado. Now, at the end of this day, if you want to talk about dog tired, see what I did there? Look at Biggie the Champ. That dude is out like a light. This photo pretty much embodied all of us at that point, but we had to push through. We got her done, and if you want to do it, you can do it too. You want to talk prepper? We told Anthony to build a bag for Biggie. Food, supplies, all of those things. My favorite part was that we got all the way to this point in the road trip, and I saw his bag for Biggie laid out on the floor. Look at this man. All these toys for Biggie. Super comfortable. He was ready to go in every hotel room we were in. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And a happy dog means for a smooth road trip.